the day my boss came to our home for dinner. I never imagined it would change my marriage forever. It was supposed to be a simple, polite evening, food on the table, small talk, and a chance to keep my work life separate from my personal one. My husband was nervous but welcoming, trying his best to make a good impression because he knew how important my job was to me. At first, everything felt normal. We talked about work, the weather, and everyday life. My husband listened quietly, smiling and nodding, while my boss spoke confidently, clearly enjoying the attention. I noticed the way my boss looked around our modest home, his eyes lingering just a little too long on everything. As dinner went on, the tone slowly shifted. My boss started bragging about his success, his money, and his lifestyle. He laughed loudly, making jokes that felt uncomfortable but easy to ignore until he turned his attention to my husband. With a smirk, he asked what my husband did for a living. My husband answered calmly, explaining his job and how hard he worked. My boss laughed and said, "That's it." The room fell silent. I felt my face burn with embarrassment. But before I could say anything, my boss added that some people just aim too low in life. I glanced at my husband, expecting anger, but instead I saw pain. He stayed quiet, gripping his fork tightly. My boss didn't stop there. He said I had so much potential and joked that I could have done better. That was the moment something inside me cracked. I wanted to disappear. I wanted to scream, but instead I stayed silent, frozen by shock and fear of losing my job, fear of confrontation. My husband gently stood up, thanked my boss for coming, and said dinner was over. His voice was calm, but it carried a strength I had never heard before. After my boss left, the house felt empty and heavy. My husband didn't shout. He didn't argue. He simply asked why I hadn't defended him. I tried to explain about my job, my pressure, my fear, but the words sounded weak even to me. That night, we barely slept. The distance between us felt wider than the bed itself. I realized my silence had spoken louder than any insult. By not standing up for my husband, I had chosen comfort over loyalty. The next day at work, my boss acted as if nothing had happened. He even joked about the dinner. Something shifted inside me then. I saw him clearly not powerful, not impressive, just cruel and arrogant. I requested a private meeting and told him his behavior was unacceptable. He laughed at first, but stopped when he saw I was serious. I told him my family deserved respect, and if he couldn't offer that, I would walk away from the job. Walking out of that office felt terrifying but also freeing. When I told my husband what I had done, he didn't celebrate. He simply hugged me tightly, and for the first time in days, I felt peace. That day taught me a painful lesson. Respect starts at home, and love means standing up even when it costs you something. My boss insulted my husband in our home, but what truly changed everything was the choice I finally made after that.